Hello. Hi.
Hey, how's it going? Can you see me?
No, but I hear you.
Okay.
But
Let me see.
like a few seconds. Oh, I think it's gonna work.
Ah,
Hi.
hey, there we are.
How are you?
Good, good.
Hand.
What's that?
How's your hand?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, shit. Okay.
yeah. Hand and arm. It's pretty messed up, but you know, it could be
What
worse.
what happened?
I severed the tendon in my middle finger and had to get it stitched up and reconnected. And now I don't have use of four of my fingers. I have to train them all how to move again.
Oh no. Are you like a musician or
I play drums, but just in my spare time, nothing serious. Back in the day, I used to play in bands and everything, but
mm,
people get older, they get families, and stuff like that. But yeah,
band?
nothing you've heard of.
Ah, we never know.
No, like my favorite band, I was in like Sideshow, and it was just me and some of my friends from high school and whatnot, and we just had a good time. It's not like we did any touring or made any money. It was just
Yeah,
it
just
was
fun.
fun. Yeah,
Just fun to play with no pressure at all.
exactly. Yeah, just doing what you want to do.
Yeah, that's how life should be.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Sure. So, where are you on this crazy planet? The question I ask to all my guests because I want to know.
In Tacoma, Washington, on the West Coast.
Hmm.
Obviously in the United States. But yeah, you probably know where Seattle is, I imagine, right? Or no?
Yes, I almost went there because I went to Vancouver like
Oh, okay.
8 years ago, and my ex and I we planned to go to Seattle, but finally we stayed in Vancouver because we loved it so much. So we said, "Oh, we're gonna go on another trip."
Yeah,
How
yeah. So
it is.
I live like 30 minutes south
Oh,
of Seattle. So
oh, good. I'm
yeah.
happy to have you on the show because it was a request for from a listener, from a patron, uh,
Yeah.
and I thought it was a really good idea. To be honest.
Yeah. I was stoked. It's like I've been asked to do these kind of things before, but I don't know. You got to get me in the right mood. It's like I'm kind of like a reclusive person sometimes, and but I was like, I got to do this podcast thing. It's like I've seen it before a couple times, and I'm like, all right, like this feels good.
It's fun, and today I want to talk about music in general. I want to know more about you, your project, the great community you built already. But I was like, oh, I feel for like a music, just talking about music in general. So maybe we could start with like, talk to me about your first favorite bands back in the days. Like, how
Oh,
did you get into punk rock? What was the band that made you fall in love with the genre?
well, it was probably, I know people like freak out, but Green Day before Dookie blew up, before everyone knew
Oh,
what punk rock was or melodic punk, whatever you want to call it. But I got exposed to 1039, like Slappy Hours and Kerplunk.
yeah.
Like, I got introduced to those like on cassette tape. A friend of mine had them. I'm like, what the hell is this? You know,
Yeah.
hadn't heard anything like it before because before I was into like butt rock, like metal, like the 80s metal, like Metallica, Iron Maiden, Slayer.
Makes sense.
Uh, yeah, and then so, and, into the thrash stuff like Anthrax and Megadeth. And so like I liked that, and it was really fast and everything. But then like started to hear punk rock. I'm like, wait, they're both fast. They both are intense, and I'm like, this is good. I like it, but it has melody. Interesting. So yeah. So then like I just heard that and I really liked it. And then you know how it goes. Like back in the day, you had the fold out paper catalogs, you know, and
Oh.
and then like Lookout Records like had one of those fold out ones, and so I'm like, well, hey, I could get this for $5. I might as well send away, just put cash in an envelope and send it off, and like 2 months later it would show up. I'm like, oh yeah, I paid money for this. Yeah,
Wow. Oof, we
yeah.
forgot that era.
Right? Yeah. So I don't know, probably dating myself, with all the catalogs and everything. But yeah, that's how I got into it, and that kind of started out on Lookout with like the band 15 on Lookout, and of course Operation Ivy, on Lookout. And those were the main bands, 15 and Operation Ivy on Lookout, and then of course Green Day. And then I got introduced to Face to Face, which
Oh,
everyone who knows me knows Face to Face is like my favorite punk band. They always have been.
good. I saw them play 2 weeks ago and it was still unbelievable. Like,
That's right. They came and toured up there.
yes, at a festival called Rock La Cause.
Yeah, yeah.
I met them briefly. It was a fucking great show for real. Yes, they are aging, but not, not musically. And on the stage, they were rad. Wow, always impressed. Always super fun to see them.
Yeah, yeah. Did you meet Trevor?
Yes, a little, but I wanted to talk with Scott
Oh, yes.
because I interviewed him like a year ago, and I was like, "Hey, I wanted to say hi," but they were busy and they were super tired, and they had to leave the show early because they had to be at the airport at like 4 a.m.
Yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
I didn't want to just take much of their time, but I said I, and it was super fun. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a running joke between like me and a lot of people that like Trevor and I have this awkward kind of love hate thing. It's like, you know, I love Face to Face and I love Trevor and all the Face to Face guys, but I don't think he knows what to make of me because I'm like super high energy, like, kind of in your face. And, Trevor, he's pretty even keel, he's pretty mellow for the most part or whatever.
Yeah.
And like I remember one of the first times I met him, I was like totally hammered, like just shit faced. And
Oh,
and Scott loves that. Scott loves to talk. Scott loves to joke around. And he thought it was funny. And so Scott's like autographing stuff for me. And then I tell Trevor, I go, hey Trevor, and this is true by the way. I had a goldfish that I named Trevor, and
oh,
he was huge. He was like this big, a goldfish, and I had him for 26 years.
no fucking way.
26 years. I could not believe it. And then if you Google lifespan of a goldfish, it says 26 years. And it moved with me from like place to place and place for 26 years. Yep. Yeah, crazy. So I named him Trevor. And I told Trevor this like at a meet and greet. I go, hey Trevor, guess what, man? I named my goldfish after you. And he's like, huh, oh, he didn't like say a word. And Scott and like, Dennis were just laughing it up, and same with Danny. They thought it was funny. Trevor, not so much.
Sorry, I think this is the best story a guest ever told me. But
Yeah,
okay, how do you take care of a goldfish for 26 years?
that's the thing. I kept it in the same tank. The tank
Are
was
you
about this big
good?
and just one goldfish, just Trevor. And I've probably lived in 7 different places. And every time I moved him, I kept him in the same tank, got rid of like 75% of the water so it wouldn't slosh out of the tank. I'd put him riding shotgun, put the seat belt around the tank, and I'd be driving and like moving Trevor to like his new home. Yep.
Sorry. Okay,
Yeah.
so you have Trevor from Face to Face and Trevor from Place to Place.
Yeah.
Scrap.
Oh, nice. You nice. Unfortunately, Trevor the fish passed away though.
Yeah.
Yep. He made it to
Uh,
26 years, and then I came home one day, and he was just like, bloop, bloop.
oh,
I'm like, ah, oh, Trevor. It
that's
was pretty sad. It was pretty sad, actually.
definitely 26 years.
26 years. And all you do is I feed him one pinch of food in the morning. That's it. Yeah.
Really impressed. I didn't know because the only goldfish I had, unfortunately, they wouldn't last more than like I think one. His name was Clo-Clo.
Oh, yeah.
I think he lived like a year and a half, but yeah. Wow. Nice story. So Face to Face was like your first, I could say, 90s Californian favorite band.
That would be, ooh, that's a tough one. There's a lot from California. Oh, man, that's a tough one. I would probably, man, that's a tough one. So many good ones. I would have to go with probably, it's got to be Rancid for the most part. Like over the years, like, of course, you have Bad Religion and all those and No Effects, all that,
Yeah.
whatnot. But, Rancid, for some reason, that one's like been through the years, I've kind of stuck with them. You know, some of the albums here and there I wasn't really a fan of, but they still make good music. They're still touring, which is cool.
Hmm.
Probably them. I was into Social Distortion, like it's one of my favorites, but they haven't put an album out in like 12 years or something, it's
No, they still do some shows here and there, but not album. Were you talking about Rancid? Can you believe I've never seen them live?
what? How's that possible?
I was supposed once in 11 or something. No,
Uh-huh.
no. That's not true. Anyway, but I canceled. I didn't go to the show because I had to adopt a cat.
Oh, because you had a cat?
Yeah, I had to adopt a cat because if I wouldn't adopt him, it would be in a shelter and he was such an asshole, so they would probably like euthanize him. So
Right.
skip the show. It was with Rise Against and Rancid.
Oh man.
Then adopt
Wow.
a cat, yeah.
And they haven't been your way since?
Not really. They
Wow.
some festivals I couldn't attend, so it's definitely on
Oh,
my list. Rancid and Descendants are probably two of the bands I need to see once in my life.
yeah. Yeah, no, those are definite must-sees for sure.
Oh yeah. What's yours? What's your the bands you never seen that you wish you had?
Man,
You will.
I finally saw the Bronx, because they were with Face to Face and Frank Turner in Seattle. So that was like 3 weeks ago, I think I saw them. So the Bronx, I checked off my bucket list because I had to see them. They're
Nice.
amazing live. But what haven't I seen still? Gosh, that's a good one. Um, I've been going to shows for so damn long. It's like
Yeah.
after, it's like, wow, what is some band that I have not seen, but I really want to?
No, you have time to think about it, but also
Yeah.
I want to talk about how you build your great community, rare punk music. The it's a big Facebook group and like it's
Yeah.
it's super alive, like a lot of posts every day. So how did you build this?
Yeah. Well, it started out, there was an eBay auction, okay, for a Bouncing Souls 7-inch.
Oh,
And so I won it. And the guy who was selling it, like, I kept messaging him. I'm like, hey, dude, are you going to ship this? What's going on? I just kept messaging him, like, dude, come on, don't rip me off. And so then he gets back to me and he's like, oh, hey, sorry, man. I had this issue, whatever, but I'll send it off. I'm like, cool. And then he's like, so you're a huge Bouncing Souls fan? I'm like, yeah, they're pretty good. And he's like, oh man, I'm a huge fan, blah, blah, blah. We just started talking about music. And this is probably like back in 2008 or something. And he's like, hey, I started this online kind of used record kind of emporium thing where I have all these rare records. And this is before vinyl was popular.
yeah.
You
It's not
know, it,
popular since that long.
yeah, so this was like 2008. No one really cared about vinyl that much.
True.
And he was like, well, hey, I have this rarepunkmusic.com. Okay. No Facebook stuff yet. And he's like, you seem like you know a lot about music and you're really passionate about music. Do you want to like start making this bigger than it is with me? And I'm like, hell yeah. I'm like, yeah, I do. And so we had this web page made and it's totally bad. It's so cheesy and easy and simple. The
Oh,
graphics were terrible. I think like the first one I drew like on a piece of paper and scanned it with the like a printer and uploaded it. It was terrible. Um but he was like, let's do it. So he had a storage facility, like a storage container with all the records, and people would email me and they would email him because we'd have a list on this website.
oh,
And
nice.
it's not like you could click and pay. I mean, this was basic. You would have to email us, give us like, your address and all that, and we would ship it. And like, of course, PayPal existed. So we would send money through PayPal. And
That's
so
a lot of work.
right, it was way more work than I thought. And then once it started getting popular and everything, it was almost like a full-time job. I'd come home from work and then I'd answer all my emails, ship everything out, have to go to the post office, all that. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then my buddy Aaron, he, had his first kid. And he's like, hey man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this
Mm.
anymore. I got a kid. I'm like, I get it, dude. And then he's like, yeah, I'm having another kid. I'm like, oh, dude. And he was like, hey man, it's all you. He's like, if you want it,
Wow.
do what you want with it. And I'm like, cool. So I was doing everything by myself for like 2 years and I just couldn't do it. It was too
No,
much work. It was
I'm
too much work.
exhausted. Just thinking about that, I'm exhausted right now. So I can't imagine.
I know, right? It's overwhelming just hearing about it.
My God.
So I what's that?
No, I said, oh my God, just thinking about going so often to the post office and just buy boxes and whatever. Like, oh,
Yeah, and I didn't have the cool things on the on the computer where you can just print out the labels that are prepaid. This was like literally printing out addresses through my computer, cutting around the address, and then taking tape and putting tape over every single piece of paper that has address on it. I mean, it's ridiculous.
oh,
But
okay. So you're just like, oh, I can't do it. It's
oh, no, I couldn't, And so especially when vinyl started to pick up around 2010, I believe, I started really seeing a lot of more traffic and I couldn't keep up with it.
mm,
So I was just like, hey, I told Aaron, I'm like, look, dude, I'm done with this online rarepunkmusic.com. I'm going to start the Facebook page, Rare Punk Music. And so we posted this thing on the site, on the website, saying, hey, this site's no longer active,
mhm,
but you can still participate with us and
yeah.
do whatever you want through us on Facebook at Rare Punk Music. And I didn't know anything about these groups. I didn't know about promotion. I didn't know anything. Like when I first started the group, it was terrible. Like if I saw a funny meme that had nothing to do with music, I just put it up there. Or or like, some advertisement for great deals on pizza. And I'd be like, oh, cool, I'll post this in here. And it didn't have anything to do with music, maybe a thing or two. And it was terrible. There's like 20 people in it.
I love this.
Yeah. And then so after a while, I was just like, what am I doing? This isn't rare punk music. This is me just not knowing what to do. So then I would go to other music pages,
Mhm.
because that's how I started keeping up with all the music and bands because their websites kind of went away once social media, got popular. So I noticed there was no more .coms really. It was all Facebook pages where they would say their tour dates,
Yeah.
album releases. And I'm like, well, crap. I'm like, I want one place to go where everyone can go to, so you're kept up on new releases, you're kept up on tours,
Mhm.
and you can share your collection, you know, and a place where everybody who are like-minded, like myself, like things I'm interested in, they can all come together and meet each other and trade and all that, you know. So slowly I kept building it, found out the things that work, found out the stuff that doesn't work,
Yeah, we
you
need to.
know.
Yeah, it's part of the game, finding what's not working at all.
Yeah, yeah. And it got overwhelming at one point because I'm the only person for rare punk music. There's no other moderators, there's no anyone else. It's like I'm
Oh,
the
that was one of my question. Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm the admin, everything else, all the other little positions you can assign people, whatever, moderator, all this other stuff. I do it all. That's one thing people like don't realize, and we almost have 38,000 members like right now. So I found it the easiest way to manage everything. It's like I have like this no bullshit policy. Like,
Very
there's
important. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, because that way I'm not messaging people back and forth like a parent, like, hey, little Timmy, no, 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 you can't say bad words to other people, or, you can't come in and just shit talk everything just because you're having a bad day. Sorry, little Timmy. No, there's none of that shit. It's one and done. Like, it depends what it is. Like when people are in there and if they're just being straight up mean and talking shit, and if everything they say is negative, you're done. You're not contributing to the group.
Yeah.
And the way I see it, because I stopped my participation in other groups because I saw the shit going on and no one doing anything about it. There's tons of groups where it's just, they're going to start trouble. And the only reason you're in it is to see the shit show that's going to go down.
No, it's not healthy.
No, no, it's not, so there's enough of that kind of stuff in the real world. So I just was like, fuck all that. It's going to be no arguing, no talking shit. It even comes down to like what you post. Like there's just a lot of just stuff I don't agree with. And I'm like, no, this isn't gonna, fly, and
You wanna it? I don't know if you're like me, but our pages are also a safe place from all the shit that happens in the world. And I know punk music. It's important also to talk about those topics. I want to, but on our social medias themselves, it's like I just want a positive vibe. So I block people uh more than I used to, because I'm like, you're supposed to know that you don't say that. So
right, yeah, exactly,
just want it to be a fun community for us ourselves, but also the people there.
yeah. Well, and that was another thing. Like I would have people message me, when I wasn't so proactive about handling all that.
Mm.
They were like, hey man, I love your group, but I got to go. I just can't handle this person or
Yeah.
this content.
Mm.
And it's like, it's a fine line, because it's like, I don't like just kicking people out. It's not because, oh, I don't like you, you can't come in. I mean, you really got to be pissing off people in the group and not positively adding anything to the group. If you're not, sorry, you got to go.
Yeah.
So now it's like, I tell people to tag me. I'm like, look, man, I'm one person, but if you tag me in something where there's some questionable stuff going on, do that, or just report it, and I check it every single day, all the reports and this and that. And thankfully, there's not many now. Like seriously, out of the 38,000 people, maybe once every 3 months,
Mhm.
some new people come in, and they're used to talking shit in all these other groups, and then they come into rare punk music, and it's just
That's
like
work. Yeah.
block, boot, you're gone. And then I'll get messages being like, hey dude, fuck you, man, this ain't punk rock, man, what are you, a pussy?
Oh mon dieu.
Yeah, they will take the turn to message me on Facebook once I boot them, and I don't even respond anymore. And the funny thing is, I'm not friends with any of the people that are talking shit and then message me after that. It's like, are you really that upset you got kicked out of a social media group to message me and like tell me how not punk I am? It's like, dude,
Oh. Yeah,
It's so funny. It's so
people
funny to me.
some people really like to remind us how not punk we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, last time, but I have a pretty good crowd too, and it doesn't happen to me a lot either. I feel very lucky, but sometimes it's like stupid comments like, "You're too happy to be punk." You're showing, you're
Well,
showing.
I'm definitely guilty of that as well. So
Yeah, that's why I said I thought about this example. I think now we are laughing way too much to be punk.
right, right, yeah, totally. You
But
know, that's funny.
yeah, but your Facebook group is called Rare Punk Musics in the
Yep.
sense of like something we can't find a lot, or is it like because it seems like at large, like I can post.
Yeah, it started out just rare punk music, but then, as I started, like, I don't know, I was getting older and listening to the same bands and only punk rock. And then, I'm like, I have so many other interests as far as genres of music
Mhm.
that I can't talk to anyone about because nobody else likes it. So slowly but surely I started, we have these things called rad mail days, like RMDs, like rad mail days. And it's something I kind of started and now everyone else is really caught on to it and I love it. They'll be posting rad mail day and then they'll take pictures of whatever they got that day or that week and post it and then everyone gets to talk about it. It's great.
I should participate more. I read it, but I don't go a lot on Facebook. But I love your
Yeah.
group. I should definitely do some Rad Mail Day posts too.
You should. I'm telling you, the rad mail days are contagious. I tell you. And other members like expect certain people to always post. If they don't, they're, hey, why isn't so and so? Well, are they okay? They didn't do a rad mail day. You know. But yeah, so I started doing that, and then instead of just showing punk, I started doing like things I'm into. Whether it's like total like 90s like Nirvana, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains stuff, or if it's like the 90s hip hop like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, all that stuff, so at first there was some confusion, which I understand. You come to a rare punk music group
Yeah,
and I'm posting about Eminem and shit. And you get the people like, fuck you, man.
you're not
What is
punk.
this? And oh yeah, that's the first thing. And then it will snowball. And then everyone starts clashing. And I'll let that go for maybe a half a day, depending, or right away I'll get rid of it, depending how hostile it is.
Wow.
But I did put a disclaimer, but no one reads at the top of the page, like what rare punk music's all about, what the community is about. There's not many rules. Just don't be a dick. Is
Exactly.
pretty
Yeah, I
much
read
it.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but
like
the people, if people don't read it, I mean, it's their
yeah,
problem because now it legitimates you to block already, like because
yeah,
you're like, and it's obvious. I went on the page, I see it, so.
yeah, yeah. It's pinned to the top. It's been pinned there for I think almost 2 years now.
Mhm.
So it's like, hey, it's right there. Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of backlash at first, and I didn't know how to handle it, so I wasn't kicking people out. And then they kept doing it and kept doing it. So that's when I started the one and done. I'm like,
Mhm.
what I'll do first is I'll see what they said, what they did. Then I'll check out their profile, to see if they've been doing anything in rare punk music, to see if they've posted, what they've been commenting on.
It's
And
just
then
one thing, or it's recurrent, or
yeah, it's like I'm like, well, are you a regular? Do you contribute anything positive, to this or whatever? And then if they don't, then I'm like blocked, whatever, no warning, you're gone. It's that simple, you
oh,
know.
but so overall, because you do that, you manage the group is still a very nice place to be, and rad days. And so you have 30,000 something
Yeah,
members.
38, about 38, 37 something.
How
So
many how many posts a day? You
probably about 100
Yeah, it's
on
a lot.
average, anywhere between like 50, sometimes 75, but on certain days of the week, about 100 posts.
Nice.
So that's pretty good because like yourself, there's so many people that I talk about like lurking in the background. Like
Yeah.
they see everything, they enjoy it, but they just don't comment or post for one thing or another. And I didn't know this because at one point I was like, why the hell am I doing this? Like there's almost 38,000 people and I'm only getting like 100 people interacting on a regular basis, which is still a lot, I found out.
Yeah.
But and then some people would chime in every once in a while when I would make a comment of that. They'd be like, "Oh, I'm here, man. I'm just lurking in the background, but I enjoy what you're doing. I love the group." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Like I'm not talking to myself here, you know."
But it's normal. I have I think 27,000 people on Instagram, and it's the same thing. I mean, people like to probably just look and see like, oh, okay, there's a good suggestion. They can take a note of what vinyl they want to buy or what band they want to hear. But like at the end of the day, they don't answer everything. You know.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I started to understand that. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. It's like I'm just like super outgoing and active with the music because it's like my passion. And,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know, I get so excited about it, especially talking about it.
There's also a matter. It's also a matter of algorithms and visibility on Facebook, and there's nothing we can do because it's all like it's manipulative things. Like so, after a while, you'll be like not blocked, but like not visible anymore because they want us to pay ads. Blah blah blah. No, so
Yep.
it's normal. It's good. So,
Yeah.
is the people posting mostly about vinyl? I want to talk about vinyl.
Yeah. Oh, hey, me too. I could talk for like a year straight just
I
about Vine.
I see your collection behind
Yeah.
you in this video.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. Oh shit! Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. How many?
Yeah.
Uh, some people wanted to know how many vinyl do you have?
Oh, geez. Oh, well, LPs, oh God, probably like 4,000, something like that. And I got this shelf right here. I haven't got my 7 inches in it yet, but like I got this huge shelf that goes from like the floor all the way to the ceiling.
Oh.
And all these white boxes here,
Mhm.
like all these, like they're all full of 7 inches, and like these down there are all full of 7 inches. And there's like roughly you can fit about 100, a little or a little more per like box. So probably have between what's there and I got some in the closet because I don't have room, probably 2,500 7 inches probably.
Insane.
Yeah.
Okay, and what is the more rare one?
Oh, everyone always asks me this. It's so tough because honestly, I've forgotten
Yeah.
about a lot. I've memorized, honestly, shocking enough. Like when I go record shopping or something, I've memorized every single thing I have, whether it's on vinyl, cassette, CD. It's like I've memorized it all. And it's
Okay,
crazy.
but okay, which one do you think worth the most money?
Most, well, it's not my favorite album, but I've got a sealed Sing the Sorrow by AFI.
Oh shit.
People like sell that for $1,000, like $1,000. That's crazy to me because I think they pressed like 10,000 of them when they came out. And then now they've just disappeared. Like, are there really 10,000 people who just don't want to get rid of it? Like,
Yeah.
that's so crazy. I love that album. People like will give me shit, but I think Sing the Sorrow is their best album personally.
Really good. I wouldn't sell it either if I had it.
Hell no. It stays sealed, I mean,
Ah! Okay,
and
so
I bought it when it came out for like $15 from the store.
that was another of my question if you still have sealed vinyl. Because I
I
don't.
do. I
I'm
do.
I'm in the other team. The team of I don't
Open
care.
them all.
Yeah. I bought it. I play it.
Yeah, I'm half and half.
Okay.
Like once I got a really good, turntable and a good system, then I started opening all the records that I kept sealed because I'm like, now this sounds fucking like I remember vinyl sounding like. I just had an old like Techniques turntable I inherited from my grandfather. But it had so many issues, and I had it repaired, and it just didn't sound great. And then I upgraded, spent like $300 on a turntable. I'm like, oh damn, this is what I need. So once it started sounding better, then I just started opening. I didn't care anymore. I went through the vinyl snob thing where I'm not going to open any records. They're just to look at. I went through that crap.
Yeah.
And then now I'll open and play everything unless I know it's like something that's super limited, like 50 copies, 100. I'll just buy the regular black one to play, and then I'll keep the other one sealed.
Oh, that's good. I don't have that kind of vinyl, like super limited. No. I try to limit myself a little.
I don't have that thing in my brain to do that. Like, I'm very impulsive and I'm like OCD. So I'm totally obsessed about collecting like everything. And it's like as soon as I see vinyl or something, I go, must buy, must buy. Like, it's crazy. Um,
Yeah, I feel that. I have a rule with myself that if I already have a vinyl, I won't buy the special reprint
yes.
colored vinyl. But sometimes
Yeah.
I'm like, I want that Propagandy 25th anniversary
Yes.
bit. So, no.
Yes. Yeah.
Also,
I bought
yeah.
I
No,
bought that one because it's remastered and
I know.
it sounds better. It sounds better. Usually there's not a difference at all. Like, it's just the same thing, but they say it's remastered. But
Yeah.
you could actually tell a difference on that.
Maybe I regret not to buy this one for
Oh, I
real.
think you can still get it. I don't know. Actually, they just put it back up on Fat Records a couple days ago. Like, how Fat does that? It'll sell out, and then they just put it up and someone finds out because they check the site every single day.
It's really
So
hard sometimes to buy vinyl on Fat Wreck, to be honest.
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Especially in
Especially,
Canada and Europe too. Uh, they don't want my money sometimes, I think.
well, yeah, they didn't even the No Use for a Name box set, they didn't even ship that internationally at all.
Mm,
Yeah. That
yeah,
it really does suck for you guys because the shipping's expensive,
I
and
know.
it and almost every release is in the US.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that would be brutal.
What
But yeah,
label? I want to talk about colored vinyl. Do you have a label that you really like their pressing, especially, or?
yeah, it's like I became friends with, like, over the years, like with so many people that are like actually like friends now. We talk all the time. I'll always buy their releases when they come out. Like, even stuff I normally wouldn't buy just to support them. Uh, like I'll do that like all the time. Like, and I just posted today, my buddy Drew, he's from, Tacoma, Seattle, where I live, and he has a record label called Tiny Dragon Music,
Oh,
and he's been doing all these releases for like years and years and years, but he finally had to, you know, call it a day, because you're getting older, you have priorities and that
yeah,
aren't record label oriented and stuff. So, I've helped him out ever since he had his record label and would promote it through Rare Punk Music, and this and that. And like all my promotions and everything I do, I don't charge, I don't do any of this. And
yeah, yeah.
so some people are like, oh my God, you don't get paid anything for doing all this and putting all this time and effort. And I go, nope. I do it all for free because I'm passionate about it and it's something I love,
Yeah,
you
same
know?
for me. Except for the some sponsors for the podcast, I don't charge labels or bands to feature
Yeah.
them on my Instagram. For me, it's
Yeah.
like I want to do that because I want to help. So, but if you want to
Yeah.
sponsor the show, yeah. But I know it's
Oh,
like
of course. Yeah.
I know what you mean. It's
Yeah. So, I'll get floated test pressings and, hook up on vinyl, as like a thank you, which is great. Like, that's better than money, in my opinion. So yeah, so that's cool that like all these different record labels and the people that run them, they'll like send me, vinyl here and this and that randomly, or hook me up with test pressing or stuff I would enjoy, which is awesome.
And I think the colored vinyl on a lot of labels are so pretty. It's crazy
Yeah,
pretty they get.
yeah. No, there's some really good ones, that certain labels are really picked up and do on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like my buddy Drew, Tiny Music, Tiny Dragon Music. Like today, I posted in Rare Punk Music that he's closing up, he's done, and he has to liquidate all his stock that he has, all his vinyl. So he's selling everything for $1, like every record, every 7-inch, like for $1, or pay what you want. So,
Oh,
it's like, hey, if you haven't heard the music, this and that, maybe pay $1, just help him get rid of it. Or if you're in the position to pay him like normal price, 10 bucks, 15, whatever helps. Yeah. So no, but like I'll do stuff like that. And I pinned it at the top of the page today. I'm like, hey, everyone help them out, this and that, blah, blah, blah. So
oh, that's so nice. It's so important
yeah.
to support each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah, I'll do that for so many like small independent record labels that a lot of them are run by one person or only two people,
Yeah,
you
they're
know.
working so hard. I think about a lot of them that I'm in contact with. There's they are really passionate for real about music, and I don't like bigger labels too, but it's different. But small labels, we feel it like deeply.
Well, yeah, like especially when, you kind of get an idea once you talk to people that have their own labels and run them, you really see how they don't make money. Like
Oh yeah.
hardly at all. And sometimes you end up taking a loss, you know. So they're doing that because they're passionate about it too, which is pretty awesome. I love that.
Oh yeah, totally. Okay, I have a question for you from the listeners. What's your favorite Canadian bands?
Oh, I don't know if they're still around, but the Penske File.
Yes, I saw them.
Oh, you did?
I saw them play maybe in last December.
Oh man, I
Oh, and in
love the
May.
Penske File. What's that?
In May too at the Puzza Fest. So I saw them twice this year.
Oh man, like I don't know if they've come to the States once, maybe. I, I don't know. They're not really like a full-time band because they all like have full-time jobs.
Oh,
And because I guess the like singer or guitar player, I forget.
I
Like,
forgot. I forgot where they're from exactly.
yeah, like I'm not sure
They
where
are
it's
they are so happy on the stage. It's the thing that is the more noticeable for me is that they are so happy. I love that.
yeah. Yeah, so I was talking with the guitar player, I think it was, and I was like, "Hey man, like I want to get a hold of some of your vinyl, it's like sold out on your Bandcamp and this and that." And he's like, literally no joke, he's like, "Oh man, I think I got some records kicking around in the trunk of my car." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm like, I'll buy them if they're not all warped and everything." And he found some, and it was really cool. He was like, "Oh, thanks, and for the support and mentioning us and Rare Punk Music." and
Uh,
and it was pretty cool. Like I'm like, Penske File, their albums are amazing. I think they only put out like
they're from
two.
Ontario.
Oh,
Okay, sorry, I needed to know.
oh, they're from where?
Ontario.
Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, yeah, they're
yeah. So Penske File, big fan of Penske File. Also, well, NSFU, everyone likes NSFU, I'm sure. And of course, Propagandhi, that's everyone knows they're from Canada. But yeah, Penske File, I would have to say they're pretty awesome.
there's a band I sent you called Ashiga. It's a Quebecois band. They are playing together. They've been playing together since a long time already, but um, it it's been a while since they released new stuff, and they just released a new single that I'm gonna play on this episode.
Nice, nice.
The
Yeah,
Quebec.
I checked that out I went on YouTube, and I checked that out. I'm like, damn, this is really good.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like I don't understand what they're saying, but the music's pretty damn awesome.
love this band because they're talking about like social stuff, but also very local stuff in Quebec City, even. So it's
Gotcha.
great. Yeah, I love them. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna play a song on this episode. Other
And then Static Pills, I let you hear Static Pills.
Yes, it's your recommendation for this episode. I really liked it. Super fast skate punk band. Where are they from again? I forgot.
That's a good question. I don't know. The album came out, I think, in like early 2000s.
Yeah.
And so this is like the first time it's being pressed on vinyl. So it had never seen a vinyl pressing, I'm pretty sure.
See.
And it was like a band that, to my knowledge, they kind of did a little bit, but then it
Mm,
wasn't released. And then so a friend of mine put it out on his record label and was like, "Hey man, are you interested in this record? If you promote it, I'll hook you up at the test pressing and this and that." And I'm like, "Send me a link. I'll check them out." Yeah, there you are.
pretty very well. I don't think we see that now, but they're from Phoenix.
There you go, Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah, yeah. Does it say like when they started? It's probably early 2000s, I believe.
Oh, it says also Chicago. I'm not sure.
Oh,
Chicago or Phoenix. Anyway, I'll check more. I'll check
yeah.
because
But
I'm
no, that's
very
good stuff. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I really liked it for sure. What else should we know about that you discovered recently, or maybe a smaller band that you think deserve more love?
Oh, right here, Flag on Fire. I don't know if you.
Oh yeah, reminds me something.
Yeah, Flag on Fire, man. They're like a whole bunch of guys that are just badass. They have great music, really kind of up tempo, kind of, probably I wouldn't call it skate punk, but it definitely is like faster. Got the melodies,
Yeah,
like
I remember.
like doing harmonizing guitar stuff. They're from like Florida, like was it? I don't know. I don't know where in Florida. I'm so bad with some of these facts.
Well,
But yeah, I like they were in my rare punk music group, and then they were on a label. They were on Felony Records, and
mhm.
then after that, like Soundspeed Records, and I was friends with the people at Felony, and then that kind of broke up, and then there's Soundspeed Records that
Yeah.
came out of that, and you probably know Soundspeed, I'm sure.
Hey, you know what? I think I have this record.
Oh, you have the Flag on Fire?
I I'm not sure, but I definitely played them on my radio show.
Oh,
Like,
well, that's awesome. Yeah, so they're good buddies of mine, and
yeah.
I found out because of Felony Records, and then they were in Rare Punk Music, and then they started conversing with me through Rare Punk Music, and then we started like video chatting and messaging, and then finally on like I don't know, it was like 2013 or something. They came all the way to Washington, which is across the country, to the other side of the country,
Oh,
and played a show like in my hometown, and finally met them like face to face and everything, had a great time. And then ever since then we've been totally, just it's just kind of worked out where we're like have actually forged a friendship out
wow.
of like not knowing anyone, really on the internet, on social media, and then they fly out from the other side of the country to
Oh,
play the music that I love. You can't beat that, and then actually kind of like forge friendships. That's
oh,
all.
that's
That's what it's all about to me. Like you meeting people with genuine connections through music.
oh, so many of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't
So,
believe
yeah.
I can't believe how my life would be without punk rock.
Oh, yeah, that's always been my favorite genre of music. Like I like so much else, but for me, punk rock, it just spoke to me. I don't know what to say. There's just something in it, like lyrically, like just like I like the technical, like music wise, the really fast drumming, the double bass, double kick drum. I love that. I like the aggressiveness of it.
Aggressiveness,
Uh
still melodic too. So it's
yeah, see, that's what the melodies. See, that's
just so
that's what I liked. Yeah, when I first, like I said, way before Green Day got big, there was melodies. Yeah. And I'm like, what the hell's that?
when
you know.
Green
So
Day
yeah,
was rare punk music.
exactly. There you go. I like how you tied that in.
Oh, that's so rad. Hey, that's thank you for being here with me today. It was such a great conversation. We could talk for like 3
Oh
hours
yeah.
still.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's like I can't believe it's almost been an hour. Seriously. It's like,
So I think people definitely should go and interact on your group. It's open to everyone. It's not an obligation to talk about very rare things for real.
yeah, you can post anything you want. That's what I tell everybody. You can post hip hop, 90s, 80s, 70s, whatever, punk, metal, doesn't matter, you
And
know.
just talk about your collection, what you want to get on vinyl, and it's a fun format. Yeah, on Facebook. It's different than Instagram. I think it's easier to have like conversations and yeah.
Yeah, it's more interactive, I was trying to do the Instagram thing, but it didn't do anything for me because there's no interaction. It's like, oh, here's a picture. Ha ha ha. Okay, who cares? You
Yeah,
know,
totally.
if there's a picture and you got a story behind it or people want to talk to you about it, that's what I'm
Mhm.
looking for. So,
Totally. So I'll put some links in the show notes so people can go on your Facebook group and some
yeah.
we should do a part two eventually. Just speaking about new bands you discovered and new vinyl you got, you can show it to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I definitely, there's going to have to be a part two. Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Have a nice night.
All right. I'll see you later.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Good. That was fun. Yay! I can't believe it, but I have a last question for the
Yeah.
Patreon maybe. Um, so you named your goldfish Trevor, but
Yes.
like you had it for 26 years.
Yep.
But okay, so when you named him Trevor, it was since the beginning, or at some point you changed his name?
Yeah, his name originally, he just didn't have a name. So, he didn't have a name. But then when I first heard Don't Turn Away on cassette at my buddy's house, and it's always an older brother who has music that you raid his
Totally.
music collection. And he had Don't Turn Away on cassette, and I popped it in and was like, what the fuck? Well, this is
Oh,
amazing.
really?
Yeah, and
Oh,
then so after that, like I look at the cassette and I'm like, well, who are the members? And I'm like, Trevor, Trevor is gonna be my fish's name.
that's sad. So amazing. And I hope your hands would be better soon.
Yeah, it should be. I'll hopefully have to have this on for only 2 more weeks, and lots of therapy and rehab on it,
Oh
but
my god.
it better work because I guess you could play drums with a messed up hand, but
Yeah,
I'd rather be able to play with hands that aren't messed up.
probably better than like solo guitars, but still it's bad, you know?
That would, yeah, playing guitar without one hand, that would be really tough.
And do you have another passion beside vinyl collecting and music? What do you like to do for fun besides?
Man. Well, it's like all music. I love going record shopping, crate digging. I love that. I honestly, I love like, cause I live like by the water,
Oh,
so out in the Pacific Northwest, I mean,
oh,
whole coastline, you're really close to the water. And where I live, like I could walk to the Puget Sound in like 5 minutes.
oh,
And
nice.
we don't have the cool sandy beaches like California does and stuff, so it's not really sandy beaches, but just going down out to like, the ocean or the water or something
Yeah.
like that, nice and peaceful, just get away from everything. Um, stuff like that, or just weird dorky stuff like going bowling, you know,
Oh,
going to like a video arcade or something, just whatever. It's like more of like not the destination, it's more of like who you're with. It's more of who you're with creating good memories and have something to think about, like
so true.
as you get older and be like, oh, that was fun. I did this, I did that, so
Yeah. Ah, it's fun. You're so happy. I love your energy.
Yeah, see, I'm glad you do because like some people just can't handle it, and I understand. You
No.
know, oh yeah, there's a lot of people that like, oh, he's too hyper, or
No.
you got to bring it down. Like it's the funny thing. Like there's like people gave me levels. They're like, okay, you at a 7 out of 10, 10 being too hyper. You at a 7 is about what people can barely take. You should always be at a 3.
Yeah, but I mean, if I tell you a very bad news about my life, I'm pretty sure you'll be like, "Oh,
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's like, yeah, that I'm just not going to be happy all the time. Yeah.
I can't be like annoyed by your energy. It's just so much fun. We need this in this crazy world, in my
We
opinion."
do. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
totally.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a picture of you for my visual, and
Sweet.
if you want, I can release this video if you want to post it. Uh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
let's talk
Yeah.
about this. So it's gonna be on next Monday.
Oh, next Monday.
So, but
Awesome.
let's chat about all those details. But I'm very happy about our chat. It was so much fun.
Yeah. Awesome. Me too.
Great night.
All right. Bye.
Bye.